an angry bride is asking for $30,000 from her bridesmaid to redo her wedding, alleging that her hugely pregnant friend absolutely upstaged her on her wedding day with her electric personality and incredibly attractive husband. The bride unleashed her fury on Reddit as, quote, ignored bride, end quote, lamenting that her wedding day was planned for 3 full years. She went on to say that the friend and perpetrator, Anna, came to the wedding with a wedding glow of her own from her own recent marriage. She went on stating that all anyone spoke about was Anna's pregnancy and her attractive husband. Now, the bride was so upset that she left halfway through her reception in tears. Ignored bride also wrote this on Reddit: I honestly feel like Anna owes me a wedding because she did all of this as revenge for me offending her years ago. Am I wrong? Well, 740 comments and a new nickname, Bridezilla, later. Sympathy was in pretty short supply for her. Here's some of the comments. It was probably just a few people asking about the baby and greatly exaggerated because she's jealous, said one commenter. Another one, if they did totally eclipse you on your wedding day just by being attractive, pregnant, and dancing, you must be a really boring person. All right, time for Dr. Mike to step in with a little advice. Ignored bride, it sounds like you might be a little obsessed over this whole thing. I mean, just because someone is happily married and expecting a child doesn't mean your wedding was ruined. You want to know what a wedding fail is really like? Well, one bride's minister kept calling her groom Mark, but he kept calling him Mike. And when he said, Mike, do you take this woman as your bride? His brother, who was named Mike, shouted, I ain't marrying her. So see, ignored bride, you had a better wedding than you realized. And by the way, I would tell you this. If you really didn't like what happened, I got a piece of advice for you. Elope. That way you can have your wedding all by yourself, and all you have to deal with is a 70-year-old clerk at the courthouse, and you probably look better than her. So now you can be happy, okay? All right. Well, we all know riding the subway in New York is a tough experience. Countless people crammed into each car, all rushing to work or home. But when you can't even sit when there's space, well, it's time for a commuter hero to save the day. You see, there was one young teen who was doing a little man-spreading over a bench. He was playing video games and refused to get his feet off the bench for 3 tired souls so they could sit down. Well, one gentleman decided enough was enough, and he put his superpowers to work by sitting on the young man. Judging from the online photos posted by a commuter named Isabel, the kid was shocked. Why, even the guardian traveling with the teen woke long enough to try and intervene. But you gotta love the guy who sat right on the kid and then refused to move. This adult seat warrior was celebrated on social media, fighting fire with fire. And hopefully the young man learned what happens when common courtesy is ignored. May there be a heroic commuter like this man on every bus and subway, using the mystical power of his backside to bring justice and seat space to the downtrodden commuters of the world. All for America and justice. And finally, being Easter weekend, we don't want to miss out on sharing just a couple of those moments where we overreach just a little bit trying to be festive or sincere in our holiday activities. Like this lady who decided she could combine candy, peeps, and sushi to create a new dish, Peepshi. A colorful effort for sure, but look, I don't think it's going to be showing up on any menus soon. And then there was this pastor seeking to drive home the idea of mortality, and he used a coffin on stage, but then he took a tumble in his object lesson of faith. Wow. And this is the kind of trouble our senior producer got into when he ran into the Easter Bunny at an egg hunt and told the Easter Bunny he didn't really exist. But my winner this weekend is the church that was doing a great job with their Easter play. Well, that is until the garden tomb got a little too hot to handle. Flame on, as they say. Flame on. You know what I love? The guy singing never missed a note. He just kept right on. The church is burning down. Some guy's hauling the tomb away in his hands. They bring fire extinguishers. He's still singing. That's what I call dedication. Well, just like the demolition expert with the short fuse, we've run out of time. But always remember, we read the news,